بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ما بعد. It's delightful to hear about everyone's turkey stories. MashaAllah, we had a good break, and I was speaking with Brother Rashid last Wednesday, and he's like, "Hey, I want to make sure there's no class today." He said, "Yeah, you heard right. There's no class today." So I'm like, "Okay, all right. We don't want a situation where everyone's online and wondering where the Imam Yasir, right?" So, but Alhamdulillah, breaks are good for us, and Alhamdulillah, we were able to have some amazing turkey. Now, we were in Surah Fatiha, Alhamdulillah, and Alhamdulillah, we are making a lot of progress, and I feel very good about this class so far. And one of the things that I try to do is I'm reminding everyone that I'm open, for feedback. If you think I'm going too fast or too slow or what have you, I want to make sure that all of us are able to benefit from this hour that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is allowing us to have. This is an amazing program, and I make dua that such programs continue to exist, during COVID, after COVID, and for many, many years to come, inshallah. It's important that we remain students of deen, students of knowledge, inshallah. So we will continue from verse number 5, as you could see on the screen here. We will go over the pronunciation, and what I would like to do this time, and actually from this point on, inshallah, is that instead of me doing the talking all by myself, I will ask a few of you, or basically I will open the floor and say, if anyone wants to practice the pronunciation, and when the time is right, I will do so, inshallah. And it makes it more interactive, more fun, and I don't get to do all the talking myself, right? So that's good, inshallah. So verse number 5, we see the transliteration before us. Just to go over it, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. We will break each word down, inshallah ta'ala. So Iyyaka, right? Iyyaka. So remember, transliterations are an attempt to the closest pronunciation. So there will be some holes, there will be some setbacks, or some caveats, but here we see one letter Y, but in actuality you're pronouncing two of them. So that's why we are saying Iyyaka. So it's Iyyaka, and we'll break it down in 3 steps, right? Iyyaka, Iyyaka, Iyyaka. And it's important to be sure that we are pronouncing the letter A after the second Y, right? So what we do not want to say is Iyyaka. It's important to pronounce the A sound after the second Y, which is Iyya. So see, Ya. And it's also important to open our mouth a little bit. Iyya, Iyya. So in order for us to do justice, we would have to open our mouth a little bit. So Iyya, and then Ka. And I know there's one A here and there's one A here. And how would you know? I guess you could take a note. But it's Iyyaka, Iyyaka, Iyyaka. So the first thing to remember is that this letter Y we will pronounce twice. So Iyya, Iyya, And then this first A, we will pronounce it where it's elongated just a little bit. So ya, ya, and then the second A will pronounce very short and simple, ka, iyaka. Next, let's move on. Okay, now, can someone try pronouncing this for me, please? Anyone?
I'll do it. Iyaka.
Iyaka. One more time, please.
Iyaka.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. Anyone else want to go for it?
I'll do it.
Yes, bismillah.
Iyaka.
Iyaka. Very good. Awesome. Great. MashaAllah. Now, let's move on to the next word. Na'budu. Okay, so let's break this down. So this symbol here, or this apostrophe, I guess, is giving us a hint. Again, it's an attempt in a transliteration for us to recite this A as the letter Ain, or to simplify it, for us to pronounce it in using our throat. So as we see it, Na'budu, Na'budu is incorrect. It's Na'budu. And you see the difference, right? First is Na'budu. As you would see it, you would pronounce it. Na'budu is incorrect. Na'budu. Using our throat to pronounce the sound. And that's very important for us to try our best to pronounce it. So Na'budu. In this word here, the ain or the sound is requiring to, for us to make some extra effort. Besides that, budu is fairly simple, right? So na'budu, na'budu, na'budu. Now, I know it may sound strange or feel strange to pronounce to pronounce a letter from your throat if you don't speak a language that does, right? I know English doesn't. There's no alphabet or a sound, right, in English phonics that we pronounce using the throat. This is definitely in Arabic, hence why we're doing so. So it's something that we just need to practice over and over and over again. It's the same letter that we found when we were pronouncing Alameen. Remember we were saying Alameen? We're not going to say Rabbil Alameen. Alameen is incorrect. It's Alameen. And then here we have it again. That was just an example. It's Na'budu. Na'budu. Can we have some volunteers to try Na'budu for us?
I'll do it, but can I say both words together? Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
All right. Iyaka na'budu.
Na'budu. Now, Sister Heather, do you feel something in your throat when you're pronouncing the A?
Not enough, probably.
Not enough.
Na'budu.
Na'budu.
One more time.
Yeah.
Na'budu.
Na'budu. So, one technique, or I would say one tip, is for us to slow down when it comes to the sound after the letter N. Because if I'm saying this too quickly, I'm not giving myself enough time to pronounce it in the throat as I need to, right? So one tip is for us to slow down. Maybe that will help, right? So, Iyaka na'budu. Na'budu. If I'm going to say na'budu quickly, I'm not giving myself a chance even, right? So you want to try that, Sister Heather? You want to try to slow down and see if that helps?
You sound like everybody in my life that I go too quickly with things. That's just because I'm trying to rush through so you don't see the error. But let me try one more time.
Slow down, Sister Heather, slow down. All right. Let's start.
Iyaka na'budu.
Now, honestly, to me, that sounded much better. I don't
Did
know.
it? Okay.
Sounded much better to me.
All right.
Through Zoom, you know. Yeah. So, Iyaka na'budu. So, we could make a note, take a note that, okay, we need to practice. Practice makes perfect. We just keep trying, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll get it. Do we have anyone else that wants to give it a try?
Na'budu.
Na'budu.
Na.
Yes. One more time, brother, please.
Na'budu.
Na'budu. Yes, very good. MashaAllah. So, Iyaka na'budu. Now, good news is that wa iyaka is fairly simple. Besides the Y, so you know how we have iyaka here is pretty much the same thing, but we're just adding the WA in the beginning. So iyaka na'budu wa iyaka. So iyaka na'budu wa iyaka. And then we have nasta'in, and I know it sounds like it literally says nasta'in, right? But we need to make sure that we are pronouncing the AI over here. AI is the same letter in the Arabic language that we are pronouncing here for na'budu, right? So the same a sound, which is found here, is the same a sound found after the letter T in nasta'in, right? So wa iyyaka nas, right? Nas, and just as a quick tip here is we will not stretch the A sound or the A sound when we're pronouncing the letter N. So we will not say nasta'in. No, we will say nas. Nas. So nasta'in. Ain. Nasta'in. 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 So one tip, inshallah ta'ala, is for us to say it slowly. And I want to mention that maybe it's worth mentioning, inshallah ta'ala, is there's no emphasis for us to, like, there's no emphasis in Islam for us to recite the Quran quickly. Okay. Where does that come from? It's simply, cultural. It's not like Islamic, right? So in essence, it's okay to take our time, right? It's okay to take our time, and we understand quality over quantity all day, right? Well, it's and that's what Allah Subhanahu wa Taala wants from us, anyways. So it's okay to recite the Quran slowly. In Salah, it's totally fine, right? We want to be able to spend more time in Salah, so that we're spending that much more time worshiping Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So I just wanted to clarify that there's no such thing as, like, in other words, there's no need to have an urgency to say things quickly. Yes, there is definitely urgency to say things correctly, but to say it quickly, that's definitely not the case. So let's just keep that in mind, inshallah ta'ala.
Can
So
I ask you a question, Imam?
yes.
Okay. With respect to speaking or reciting slowly, what is your feeling about when you're first learning Al-Fathia? and you having the surah in your hand or on the floor, and that pressure one may feel to just sort of get through it as opposed to just getting it. I just wonder if you can touch on that quickly, or whatever you feel time is necessary, but yeah.
So can you please elaborate a little bit more, just so I understand?
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes I know some of us are just learning the surah, right? And we're just now getting it. But sometimes in prayer, I know when I first became Muslim, when in the prayer, you feel this need to go fast to get through it. That versus slowing down and literally having the surah on in your hand or somewhere close by. So I wanted to see what you felt about that philosophy towards learning this surah, because it's so important to the prayer.
So I would say the latter, definitely the latter, because we need to understand the reason for prayer, right? The essence of prayer is for us to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will connect with Allah when we make it personal. And quite honestly, we will not be able to make it personal if we're just going to speed through it. Allah knows where we are. You know, we're just learning it, and Allah knows that, you know, we're going through this phase where we are learning, and it's totally okay. It's fine, right? So it's okay to take your time. It's okay to take your time. Don't feel the pressure of having to go through it quickly, because that's that is against the essence of salah, right? We want to be able to connect with Allah through our salah, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan, Brother Rashid. That was a very good question, mashallah.
Jazakallah. And then one brother had his hand raised. Brother Rashid.
Assalamu alaikum. So I know in recitation of the Quran, there's a name for it when you do it properly.
That's correct.
But when you're just trying to recite or read the Quran, how really important is it to make sure you're doing it properly versus just saying what's there on the page? You know what I'm saying?
That is correct. It is very important that we pronounce it the way it ought to be pronounced. Okay. For that, we are students. For us to learn the proper pronunciation of letters, and inshallah ta'ala, we can potentially, look into some kind of tajweed class, to correctly pronounce, the Arabic in our salah. But brother, it is very important. It is very important.
So then why? Question. So then why the emphasis on the teaching to pronounce it properly in tajweed, like you said, and then just regular? If you're just a lay person, you just know it. I mean, so we're all supposed to be, I guess, at some point get to a point where we're experts or at least proficient in tajweed, right? Tajweed.
Tajweed, yes, sir. So to your point, yes, brother. The goal is whenever we recite Quran, it is to be recited with tajweed. That is the goal. That is the goal. Now, there are implications of reciting the Quran without tajweed in salah, and what happens then. We do not want to open those kind of worms here. This is not the class for that. But let's just say it is very important, inshallah ta'ala. And there are resources that we can tap into, inshallah.
Add something really quick. So I heard that, like, if you're like non-Arab speaking, like growing up or whatever the case is, and you struggle, you receive double the reward for at least trying your best.
So sister, there is definitely tremendous reward. It comes in a hadith, and it comes in a tradition of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that that concept exists. That when a person goes through the struggle of pronouncing the Quran, there is tremendous reward. So that is definitely an incentive for us, that there's virtue in going through what we're going through. So yeah, Jazakallah khairan for that as well. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we were able to finish Nasta'in, right? So let's go over the entire verse so that we can go over how to recite it, so ta'ala, collectively, if possible. So, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Can we, is there a volunteer? Can someone try reciting this for us?
I'll volunteer. So,
Yes.
Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in.
Okay. So, Sister Rina, I will request if you're able to slow down just a little bit, and let's try that.
Okay. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in.
So let us, the letter Ain, right, or the A sound, right, for na'budu and ta'in, right? So na'budu and ta'in, and we, in order for us to know that we're pronouncing this specific letter correctly, is for us to, we should be able to feel it in the middle of our throat, right? Like basically in the throat. So, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. MashaAllah. Anyone else?
I would like to try. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillah.
Sister Maya from Denver. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Very good. Can you recite that for us one more time, please?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in.
MashaAllah. Very good. Very good. Anyone else wants to try?
Why the Y is not double? Not two Y.
So sister, meaning why are there no, like why are there not two letter Y's written here? Is that the question?
Yeah, it helps me because I have mine in two Y's. So it's like E, yeah.
Yeah. Let me try. Let me change that real quick. If that helps. Move it out of the way. Okay, does that help?
Yes. I don't know about other brother and sisters.
Yeah.
That's what I-
I think it's good. It's a reminder, that hey, there's two Y's, so we have to recite the two Y's together, and there are different ways of looking at it, like it's as if it's bouncing or just reading it with emphasis, etc. So Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. MashaAllah. Okay, so let's go over to verse number 6. So ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Okay, so we have ih. So it's important that we are not pronouncing ih, right? So this is not ih, this is ih. And the correct pronunciation of this H in this part of the surah, of this part of the chapter, is for us to recite it with ih, with ha, like with some of your breath, right? So ih, right? And then we have the letter D. So ihdina, ihdina. So it's not like idina, it's ihdina. There has to be that just a little bit ha sound in there. So ihdina, ihdina. Now we will see that we sometimes need to connect two words together because in this instance the letter S needs to be recited twice, right? So let me change something real quick just to make it easier, inshallah. I'm able to do that. Let's try this. Okay, so ihdinas siratal, ihdinas siratal. We see two letter S's here because we're breaking it down while we are reciting. But if you are to read these two words together, you will say ihdinas siratal, right? So let's go into the next word. So again here, it's the first word here is ihdinas, ihdinas, and then the next word, the second word, is siratal, siratal. So this R, we should try to pronounce it with a little bit more weight to it, right? So we see sera, right? Sera, but the correct way according to Tajweed is ra, right? Ra. So it's ra versus ra. Now we see little letter R here, but we are not supposed to say ra. We're supposed to say ra. So there needs to be a little bit of shaking of the tongue when we're pronouncing this R here, right? So you know how we like how like how that vibration, or not vibration, but that quick movement that takes place. So little bit of that needs to take place here. So sera. So it's not sera, ra. It's not ra. It's ra. So seratal. And then this T, similar to R, will be pronounced a little bit more heavier. So tal, not tal, tal. So siratal, siratal, siratal. So ihdinas siratal, ihdinas siratal, ihdinas siratal, ihdinas siratal, ihdinas siratal. Can we have a volunteer to pronounce the first word for us, please?
I'll
Can
try it.
I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
If we pronounce it as sirotal and sirotal, with that brings different meaning with the ra.
Technically, no, it will not change the meaning.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
technically it will not change the meaning. Do we have a volunteer to recite the first word for us? Ihdinas.
I'll do it.
Yes.
Ihdinas.
Yeah.
I'll even try it, the second one. Ihdinas siratal.
One. Okay. So with the H, let's make sure that there's no involvement of the throat when it comes to the H, right? So it's not ihdina, ihdinas, right? So just like the letter H is in a horse, right? So ihdinas siratal. So let's try that one more time.
Ihdinas siratal.
Very good.
Better?
MashaAllah. Anyone else?
Well, actually, a question. So on the air,
Yeah.
you're saying it's more throaty than chesty.
No, it's the opposite. It's more chesty instead of throaty.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll try.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead, brother. No, you go ahead.
All right. And I'll stop right there. But stop right there. I don't know if I'm hitting the chest enough. Because that word's always bugged me. That one word is just for years. It just bugged me.
Yeah. So So one is okay. So there are two possible ways of reciting IH here.
Okay.
One is ih and one is ih. Okay. So I'll pronounce the two again. One is ih. You could clearly hear like a whistling sound from my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Ih. And then you have ih. 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 The correct pronunciation here is ih. It is not ih.
Okay, so less windy.
Yes. So
Okay.
it's ih. So it's not ih. So in other words, to simplify the pronunciation of this is that we are allowing our breath to leave our lungs with absolutely no restriction. Just like that.
Eh,
Yeah.
eh,
Yes.
dinos.
That's perfect.
Okay. Dinos. Okay.
And it's how we could keep practicing. The goal here is that there's like this free flow. There's no restriction of our throat. We can't say there's no involvement because it's there, but there's no restriction from our throat with that breath that we're exhaling with. Yeah. So, dinas, MashaAllah. Anyone else?
Abdul Rahman? Yeah.
Ihdinas.
One more time, please.
Ihdinas.
Great, MashaAllah.
And a question, for the Siratul Mustaqim, the Siratul,
Yeah.
I didn't know it was T-A-L. I thought it was Sirata. And I've seen two different translations. It's the same thing. There's not T-L. It's R-A-T-A. You understand?
Okay, so see, I would say it's one of those examples of things getting lost in transliteration because the L here is, if you look at the Arabic, the L is technically written in the beginning of the next word, mustaqim, right? So it's alif, lam, mim, sin, right? So it's al-mustaqim, right? But you're saying alif. So it's sirah. So technically speaking, in Arabic, it's sirata, and then the next word is al-mustaqim. So that's what's happening. But I guess it's lost in transliteration. Is one way of putting it. So it's siratal mustaqim, for our own ease that we would do that, because it would sound, or it would be like, I would say, a little bit more challenging, more difficult to learn it one way when we're breaking it down, but then to pronounce it together for it to be different, right? It will sound like a double standard type of situation, right? So, ihdinas siratal, and then we have mustaqim. So, ihdinas siratal, ihdinas siratal, ihdinas siratal.
Can I ask, Sheikh?
Yes, yes, yes.
Assalamualaikum. How about if I see there's like a thinner T and a thicker T, like sira tall,
Yes.
tall, it's a tall, it's a, maybe we put capital T for tall, and then lower T as ta, tall and ta, so it's differentiated by capital letter for tall, zero, tall, thicker. So that will probably help. Siratal mustaqim. And then for ha, there's two ha, the Muhammad, ha, and the Allah ha. So maybe if we put H, like alham, we put capital H, that will be ha, alham, and the regular one, rahim, rahman, rahman, and then rahim, rahman, rahim. Number 3, rahim. Number 3, there's a sentence 3, rahman, rahim. Okay, that small h. We keep that way. Okay, I think that would help.
That's great. We're able to codify, if you may, the different H's and the different letter T's, right? Inshallah ta'ala, right? So ihdina siratal, right? Ta. And then we could see here with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Right?
The here, Bismillah, he is a
Yeah,
small
yeah,
h.
the first one, yeah.
It's a small h.
This is a small one, yeah. Okay. Great. So ihdina siratal mustaqim. Mustaqim. So with mustaqim, the Q is basically this, similar thing that's happening with the letter T here is mustaqim. So musta, pretty much straightforward. There's nothing extraordinary going on, nothing special going on. It's musta, and then qim with the heavier, with the different type of Q, which I will just continue that format. Mustaqim, right? Mustaqim. So you could say that letters that are transliterated in capital letters are, you can say, thicker or more with more emphasis. So ihdinas siratal mustaqim, mustaqim. So ihdinas siratal mustaqim, ihdinas siratal mustaqim, ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Can we have someone try this for us?
I
Ihdinas. Sister Rina, you want to go first?
Yeah, sorry. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
It's so this letter Q, we need to pronounce it as Q, not as KH, right? So mustaqim, mustaqim.
مستقيم. I
Oh,
can't.
we just have to practice. Inshallah. Mashallah, you know, that's why we have this class, right? We're learning, alhamdulillah.
Because I could say it like mustaqim. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I understand. I'm assuming I'm okay.
Can I
For my,
try?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Can I try?
Yes. Go ahead. Bismillah.
Or you want us to pronounce the Mustaqim.
There. Okay. So mustaqim. Mustaqim. Yeah. So we will not. So.
And I was like, I don't want to learn none of them. I said, because nobody speaks French. We're in America. Like, nobody speaks French. But in England, that's their second language over there in England, French, because they border England.
So now you're not muted.
Between the two countries. So my mom was, when she graduated high school, was fluent in French.
Who's that? Oh, I can mute. Who's that?
And so just she wanted me to learn how to speak French so she could converse with me in French. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
So there was someone else that wanted to try Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. Can we have that brother or sister go, please? Or anyone else that wants to try this? Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim.
I'll try. So okay, here we go. Ihdina siratul mustaqim.
So let's remember that there's the letter A after T. So it's siratal. Siratal.
Siratul. Siratul. So ihdina siratul mustaqim.
Yes. So you know, I could be wrong, but it sounds like you're saying siratul, right? As if there's a letter U. But
It's like a short and tall. Short or tall?
Siratul.
tall, yeah. So
Siratul mustaqim.
mustaqim.
Like a T-L, tall, a tall guy, tall.
It's very similar to describing someone who's tall, right? Similar, but not the same. So, you know, like this brother is tall, right? So, siratal.
Siratul.
Yes, very good.
Siratul.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So, ihdina siratal mustaqim. Now, verse number 7, don't worry, we'll break it down, okay? We're not gonna just do the whole thing at once, so we'll break it down inshallah ta'ala. So, so let me just make a few quick edits based on the new code that we're developing. So, الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا. Okay, cool. So you could see the capital R, capital T. So صراط الذين, right? So صراط, it's the same one that we have here, right? Remember we said اهدنا الصراط, the same صراط, this guy is still here, right? So صراط, and then الذين. Let me change this to 2 E's. I think it's better to pronounce 2 E's than this one I. I think that helps. So
I know we're getting into a regional thing almost, but here it says Lazina. Should it be more Ladina if we look at the transliteration? And I know that's a debatable point. So,
well, Brother Rashid, I was going to differentiate the, you know, how to pronounce it correctly, because there is no English equivalent of Zal, right? It's simply Z. But in Arabic, there's three possibilities. It's either a Dha or a Zal or a Zal, right? But here it's the Zal. So Ladina. So the correct pronunciation. Okay, so by the way, to pronounce this simply as the letter Z, right, as zebra, is technically not correct. The correct pronunciation is, brace yourselves, okay, is pronouncing this Zal using the tip of our tongue along with the tip of our two front upper teeth. So that, right? That. So Z for zebra is something that we were, how we were saying it since we were kids, literally. But this ladina, the ladina is the correct pronunciation that we're after over here. And again, there's no need to feel overwhelmed. We will practice, inshallah, right? So, siratal ladina, right? The ladina, siratal ladina, and at the end here, ladina, there's one A. So we will not elongate this A. We will simply say ladina. We will not say ladina. We will say ladina. So siratal ladina, siratal ladina. And coincidentally, this S is capital because it's the beginning of a sentence, right? Trying to apply English grammar in Arabic transliteration, right? That's fun. But we have, there are two types of S's, right, in the Arabic language. One is this regular S, as in Sam, or, sugar. Okay, that's S-H. Sam, for example, right? So, and then the second one is Saad, which is a thicker type of S sound, and hence we will recite this with a, or we will, like we have it here as capital S. So say, siratal ladina, siratal ladina, siratal ladina, siratal ladina. So this is one part. Can we have some volunteers try this, please?
I'll do it in an effort to not feel overwhelmed. I'll go first. Siratal ladina.
I think that was awesome. Okay.
Really? Okay.
The Z, like the new pronunciation Z, was point on. It sounded to me, it was like, like nail in the head, mashallah. So, siratal ladina. Yeah, that's great, mashallah. Mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Anyone else?
Siratal ladina.
Siratal ladina. Yes, that sounded good to me, mashallah. That sounded great, mashallah. Mashallah. One more person? Anyone else?
Siratal ladina.
Good, mashallah. That's great, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. I will say that I am loving this whole interaction, and can I have a volunteer? Like how we were in school, So, an'amta. Okay, so we have an. I know we see an, right? I had, like, he ate an apple, right? It's an, what's written here, but we will recite an, okay? An. So siratal ladina an. And then this A before the letter M, this is that A of the throat again. So an'amta, an'amta. So siratal ladina, siratal ladina an'amta, amta, amta, an'amta. So let's break it down in 3 steps, right? So we have then we have amta, an'amta, an'amta. And I know N and M, they sound very similar, but they are, as we see, there is that difference as well, of course. So it's an'amta, an'amta. So remember, this A, the second A in this second part, is with the throat. Amta, amta. So can we have someone try this, please?
I'll do it again. I don't know why I'm feeling so, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. All right. From the top or just the 2 words?
Oh, let's go with the 2 words for now.
Okay, good. An'amta.
Let's try the whole thing. Let me hear it first.
Say it again. You want me to say it again?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Can you
An'amta.
So, Sister Heather, you feel the difference between and then right? Because I hear a difference that for the first one, for it's simply but then we have there is a little bit more emphasis that I'm hearing. Is that correct? Is that true?
I'm trying to, yes.
So we will again, practice makes perfect, and great, mashallah, awesome. An'amta. Can we have someone else try, please?
Yeah, I'll go. Oh, go ahead, brother.
An'amta.
One more time, please.
An'amta.
So let's try to put more emphasis on the sound. So amta.
Amta.
From the throat.
An'amta.
Yeah. An'amta.
An'amta. Okay.
MashaAllah.
An'amta.
Sister Martina, can you try one more time, please?
An'amta.
So it let's make sure that we start off by saying It's not in, it's an'amta. No, I'm sorry. An'amta. An'amta. Yes, exactly. Just the way you said it right now at the end is the correct way. There's no in over here. It's right? So siratal ladina an'amta. Let's try that one more time, Sister Martina, please.
An'amta.
MashaAllah.
An'amta.
An'amta, yes. Great. MashaAllah. Somebody else was trying to try earlier. I think Brother Rashid was trying to say
it. An'amta.
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 Yeah. So let's try to go for instead of it sounds like in or like E or A going on. Let's go for more of a like sound when we're starting off. So an'amta.
An'amta. An'amta.
You know how we say unknown? So the same is here. So an'amta.
An'amta.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's what we're after. So, Brother Rashid, just remember, unknown and the same un is here, right?
Okay. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, صراط الذين أنعمت. MashaAllah. That's great.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. أنعمت and then عليهم. With this A here of عليهم is again the special A, right? عليهم. عليهم. And we ran out of time. We will continue next Wednesday, inshallah ta'ala. Again, I will say I love the interactive aspect of it. You know, yes, we're moving a little slower, but I will say that the quality is, in my opinion, I think is definitely, you know, it's much better that we're able to correct ourselves and share with each other, inshallah ta'ala. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. And to add to that, I think I'm feeling like people are letting that shyness go a little bit, and they're just starting to let it go and just to gain that knowledge, and I encourage that for myself and from everybody. You know, we're all friends and family here, no matter how long we've been Muslim, brand new or in the game for a while. You know, we should always want to spend time to increase our tajweed, and that way we get closer to Allah and get more blessings just from reading. I just want to throw that in there, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, that's great, inshallah. There's definitely the way you said it, mashallah. We're all brothers and sisters here. We're all students. You know, I'm a student. All of us are students. All of us are lifelong students, right? And the one who is shy misses out, right? So let's, you know, and when I'm teaching children, right, I have this very clear rule with them is there's no such thing as feeling shy about asking a question or learning, because that's the type of environment that I try to create in my classroom, at least when we used to have classrooms, right, in person. So alhamdulillah, mashallah, may Allah accept from us and allow us to seek knowledge until, you know, for the rest of our lives, inshallah ta'ala. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.